The Canon M50 is one of the smallest mirrorless cameras currently on the market. It is tiny, has amazing autofocus, great preamps, and you should absolutely buy one. Here's why. What's up everyone, I'm the Everyday Dad, and if I can figure it out, you can figure it out. I've made more than a few videos about the M50 before, but those were mostly about explaining why it's not as bad as the internet used to say. When the M50 was originally announced and released back in February, I thought it was a joke and that it was a terrible idea. I mean, a camera in 2018 that does not primarily focus on 4K? What kind of insanity is that? Well, fast forward to almost a year later, and I really think the M50 has finally been accepted as a full-fledged member of the online camera community. And no kidding, today I'm gonna try to do my best to convince you, if you're looking for a new camera, why you should buy one. But before we get too far into the video, I do wanna cover the basic specs to get us all on the same page. And quick disclaimer, I'm not a photographer nor am I a professional videographer. You know, I make home videos and these YouTube videos you see, so the specs I'll be covering today are the ones that are most important for the online content creator. The EOS M50 is a small mirrorless camera from DSLR king Canon, and it was released back in February of 2018. It has a 24 megapixel APS-C CMOS sensor. It can use Canon's EFM lens lineup. It also has dual pixel autofocus in 1080p, has the brand new Digicate processor, and a fully articulating touchscreen. Like I mentioned earlier, it does have the ability to do 4K up to 24 frames per second, but you will suffer a huge 1.7 times crop. Physically, it is a shockingly small camera. Like, if you haven't held one before, after this video, go to your local electronics store and hold one. I mean, I'm telling you, it will shock you. I can palm the darn thing in one hand. The body is mainly made of plastic, and while this isn't the best feeling camera body ever, I do think it feels pretty darn good for the price. Most cameras made of plastic have a problem where they feel very cheap and junky, but the rubber coating over the body, I mean, it actually feels pretty good in my opinion. The M50 also has an okay assortment of buttons and dials, but honestly, you can't do as much as I'd like from the body. However, on the back is that fully articulating touchscreen that works perfectly awesome for not only framing, exposure checking, and focus confirmation, but it also has the rare but super useful ability to allow you to change the settings of the camera from in front of it, which for me, I mean, that balances out the lack of customizable physical button. You know, much more on this later. Talking about the actual functionality of the camera, I do want to point out some negatives right off the bat. There's two basic modes for the camera. There's auto and there's manual. So if you like those two settings, hooray! You'll really like it. But if you like shooting video in something like aperture priority mode or shutter priority mode, those modes only work for photo. You can have it set to that and then hit the video record button, but it will default to what I assume is auto because it definitely isn't recording wide open on my Sigma 18-35 anymore. Now I do shoot everything in manual, but I want to point this out up front. That's enough talking at the camera though. Let's get into the three most important aspects of a camera that matter most to the YouTuber/online content creator. First up, image quality. Now what I find most fascinating about the M50 is it is one of the cheapest cameras in Canon's interchangeable lens lineup. The only two that I can think of off the top of my head that really beat it on price are the SL2, which is a mini DSLR with a lot of the same functionality, and the M100, which is not as versatile as the M50, but still has some really awesome features. Being such a budget camera, but also having the brand new Digicate processor and having the ability to capture 4K, I mean, that's pretty shocking for a Canon camera. Canon is notorious for high-end protection. Generally, they don't like to put too good of specs into lower-end cameras because they want to protect sales of their more expensive cameras. Yes, quick disclaimer here that the 4K in the M50 is cropped in quite significantly, and you lose the dual pixel autofocus, but other Canon cameras do not shoot in 4K until you hit the EOS R and the 5D Mark IV. With all of these features, I do think that the image quality in the M50 is fantastic. Now, I'm not one to lecture about color science or if Canon has some kind of magic sauce, but I will say their bit rates aren't the best, but I think the image quality coming out of this small camera is fantastic, and it's really impressive for how easy it is to just get the camera working. But let's not take my word for it. Let's head outside and do the most important of tests, the video/vlogging test. And here is the part of the video that I've been dying to make for a very, very long time now, and that is the video and the vlogging test of the Canon M50. So the Canon M50, I wasn't even planning on making this video this week, by the way. Little quick behind the scenes. Whoop. of the Everyday Dad. I wasn't planning, I had a whole different video planned for today, but after carrying this around for the last 2 weeks, I really wanted to make a you should buy the Canon M50 video. And so we're kind of going off script, we're kind of going like off normal plan for this. But I really want to sing some praises about an underappreciated camera, so vlogging test begin. I hope I didn't just break that. Whoa, okay, so here is the video slash vlogging test of the Canon M50. You know, we did the 80D earlier this week. We did the 80D versus the Canon M50 Wednesday, but today I really just want to sing the praises of the Canon M50 by itself. Like, this continues to impress me more and more. So some months ago, we made the videos about the Canon M50 and I said how awesome it is. It's a great price, travel camera. It just does so much for like travel camera stuff. I cannot recommend it highly enough. And then I ended up selling that one, but I saw some deals on it a couple weeks ago where it's like 600 bucks now at the door. And it's so good. Like, it is so good. I've been carrying it with me for like 2 weeks now. You know, I just vacationed to Ohio. I took it with me to make my videos there, my home videos and the YouTube. I made one of the YouTube videos there. I'm getting ready to bring it with me to Spin Up. I think I'm leaving for Spin Up. By the time you're watching this video, I'm probably on a plane to go to Spin Up, and I'm bringing the Canon M50 with me. Why? It's super easy to use. We'll talk more about that in a second. The image quality is fantastic. It's crazy small, and it just works. Like that, I cannot overstate that enough. And I get frustrated with my comment section sometime when people talk about image quality like that's the end all be all, when I just need gear that works. Like we mentioned in the M50 versus the 80D video earlier this week, I make so many videos that I don't have time for gear that just doesn't like work. It needs to work. I don't want to bleed into fiddliness, so here's the video quality. Now the audio you're currently hearing is through my lav mic back to the recorder over there. I don't have a shotgun mic anymore. I need to buy another shotgun mic. Note to self, buy a shotgun mic today. But this is the audio out of the Canon M50. Audio test 1, 2, 3. Audio test 1, 2, 3. And here's the geese test. Look at those geese. Look at them, just being lazabouts. Start vlogging, geese. Get a job. They're probably gonna. The reason I feel safe to talk crap about the geese is there's a fence between us. If that fence wasn't there, I would not be talking crap about geese. Okay, vlogging test complete. Back to the video. Expectations subverted. We're going straight up into the indoor studio slash low light test of the Canon M50. This is what we were recording on earlier. This is the Nikon Z6. Fantastic camera that you should stay tuned next week to see, a whole bunch of videos about it, because I love it. But anyway, so this is the exact same settings, the exact same everything that you just saw with the full frame mirrorless camera, and the Canon is set to auto mode. I do have an XLR microphone that's plugged into a recorder, all sorts of stuff, whatever. But this is the video quality that you can expect. And again, I am cheating a little bit because I've got the Sigma 18-35 on the Canon M50, which, like we will mention here in a little bit, one of the biggest strengths of the M50 is just it's basically a cheap way to get into all of the awesome lenses and accessories of the Canon line. But this is what you can expect if you're gonna use this as your very own YouTube camera. And I can definitely see that the box is still around my face. I love having Canon take care of all my focusing for me. It's the best thing about Canon, is just trusting that focus. Okay, let's switch out the cameras again so we can continue holding it. And we're officially back to the normal studio. Long story long, the M50 has awesome image quality both in and out of the studio. In fact, the narrative part of the 80D video released on Monday was shot entirely on the M50, and a video about unboxing the camera we're using right now that will be coming out on Monday was also shot for the most part on the M50. Next up is the most important part of camera operation and feature sets when it comes to what I look for in a camera that I want to use: fiddliness. So let's talk about fiddliness on the Canon M50. Now this, no kidding, might be the least fiddly camera I've ever used. So there's two parts before I start gushing too much, because this video is kind of like my love letter to the Canon M50, because you're great, buddy. You're great, buddy. Yeah, you're a good camera. Good job. Pound it, bro. So there are two kinds of fiddliness, right? There's how easy is it to use the body to get everything set up before you hit record, and then how easy is it once you hit record to get the video slash audio that you want out of it. Now the Canon M50, the biggest negative I will say about it is it doesn't have as many buttons and dials on the body itself as I would like. I wish there were more dedicated feature buttons. There's not as many. The buttons themselves don't feel great. Like the ADD buttons feel amazing and that body feels great. This body feels okay, but there's not as many buttons as I would like. But once you hit record, this is probably the easiest camera on the market to use. Besides how light it is, I mean, this thing goes anywhere, it fits anywhere. I mean, it almost fits in your pocket. But besides that, it's got the awesome flip up touchscreen. And I know only vloggers and YouTubers care about flip out touchscreen. Surprise, I'm not a vlogger, but I'm a YouTuber that cares about touchscreens. Especially when you spend so much time in front of the camera, you don't have time to mess around with equipment that doesn't work. If you're a creator like me, you're cranking out these videos every week because it's something you enjoy, but you want to be as efficient as possible. Nobody likes wasting their time. I hate when my time is being wasted. I get very angry. And that's why I really like equipment that just works. One of the easiest videos I've made recently, but one of the ones that I like the look of the most, what's in my portable YouTube studio video, which was primarily shot on the M50. Now I was using the Sigma 18-35 on the M50 with the adapter, which makes a beautiful image quality. And when we do the indoor studio part, we're gonna use this, spoilers. But it's just so easy to use. You can see that you're in focus. The dual pixel autofocus makes sure that when the box is on your face, you are in focus. You can tap to focus, and you can also change your settings from in front of the camera once you've hit record. That's a game changer for me. Like, I hate using Sony cameras are great, and Sony has fantastic image quality. I will never take that away from them. I'm using a Sony camera right now. But being able to change stuff on the fly, there's just nothing that beats Canon. Ease of use is such a big deal for me personally, and Canon crushes it, and the M50 is probably the best, easiest to use Canon camera ever. I love it. Fiddliness, it wins all day. I didn't actually throw my 18-35. It works in fiddliness so well, just so well. I could talk for hours about how easy this thing is to use. And last but certainly not least, when it comes to the cameras, and I think this is one of the biggest benefits of the M50 ecosystem. Saying something is the biggest benefit requires a bit of explanation. I mention this a lot, but this little body, I mean, while it's great, doesn't actually do anything by itself. I mean, I guess you could use it as a paperweight or a not very durable camera, but you do still need things like lenses, batteries, SD cards, etc. And with something so simple like this little adapter, you gain access to so many fantastic first-party Canon lenses and some very excellent third-party lenses. Most camera fanatics like to say that the real investment of a photography/video system, it's not the body itself, but it's the lenses. And I think that that's the real strength of the M50 at the end of the day. It's basically a very budget-friendly way into the Canon lens lineup while having fantastic features like dual pixel autofocus and that flip out screen. Like, that is so good. So what, right? So at the end of the day, if you are a YouTuber looking to get either your very first camera, looking to upgrade from a cell phone, or you're looking even for a second camera, this is an awesome option, and you should absolutely get one. I mean, I clearly just spent a whole video talking about how much I like the Canon M50, and you know what? It is a great purchase today in late 2018, and you should absolutely get one. Thanks for watching.